the granddaughter of Anna Braudeheller is my second cousin who lives in Sweden. She was hidden as an infant in a convent, and her parents rescued her at the end of the war. Both her parents were physicians. Her father went to a kind of medical school in the ghetto. There was a medical school, and he became a virologist that worked at the Karolinska Institute in Stockholm. Her mother was a psychiatrist. Anyway, she from Stockholm comes occasionally to Warsaw and makes sure that this is maintained. And she's also very involved in the establishment and the organization, as Michael is, of the Ghetto Museum, which is being built and will be ready maybe next year. She was just here recently, a couple weeks ago.
David, let's put a stone here.
Okay.
That's a stone.
Yeah, it's a good stone. Put it here. The reason my father survived was because he was kind of connected with this hospital. He was 16 years old when the war started in '39, and kind of functioned in some capacity as an assistant or an orderly with the hospital, and therefore was not taken in one of the roundups. He escaped the ghetto 3 months before the uprising by leaving a work brigade. Work brigades would leave the ghetto and dig ditches or do something, and by bribing a guard to look the other way, he then disappeared into the city. My grandfather, who's mentioned on the other side, did not look particularly Jewish, so he was able to pass. My father did look very Semitic and could not pass, so he had to be very careful.
Let's also add,
Yeah.
you could survive sometimes by looks, and very often you had to speak in unaccented Polish. And women had a greater capacity to pass, especially religious women, because they studied for the most part in secular schools. The boys who studied in yeshiva couldn't pass because they didn't speak Polish well enough. And consequently, you needed looks, you needed, and the other thing about it is, as Vakamid said, your eyes could betray you. Because Poles stopped looking at things, and Jews started looking at things because they were not used to being on the outside and disregarding all that was there. So it depended what you looked at as to whether you could be caught. Let's, David, let's say...
David, tell about your father was a violinist.
Yeah, my father studied violin as a child. He was actually born in Berlin because his Polish parents, after Zurich, moved to Berlin because that was the place to be. He studied violin. His studies were cut short by the war, but in the ghetto there was an orchestra, and there were many musicians, and they put on concerts in the ghetto during the war. And one evening my father was the soloist in the Beethoven violin concerto. He always said he wasn't very good, but there was no one else really to play. And there was a poster with his name on it, which he was always searching for and could not find, like an advertisement for him as soloist. And he continued to play until he passed away at age 95 several years ago. He played string quartets and in different groups like that.
Some of you know Annette Gottlieb. That's David's sister. She's Annette after
Annette Gottlieb is
and
was
Stephen
like-
Ashford is David's brother.
And let's,
So I'm sure